Welcome to the People Relations Podcast, the podcast series brought to you by People Relations HR Consulting, where we talk with business and HR leaders around the globe. In each episode, we will discuss exclusive insights, strategies, and advice to help you make better people decisions in your business. For show notes and incredible bonus resources, simply visit www.peoplerelations.com.au. Okay, let's get started. Hello everyone, and thanks for joining me again. Good to have you along. I'm really looking forward to my conversation today with an outstanding HR leader and also my friend Pia Rueda. Pia is the head of HR at Lenovo for Australia and New Zealand. Pia, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you, Pame. Thank you very much for having me today. I'm very excited on our first podcast.
I'm very excited to have you along as well. And Pia, can you tell us about your journey as an HR professional until the date? Can you tell the listeners?
Yes, sure. So when I look at my HR career, so let me think, where should I start? Probably 15 years ago, I would say from now, I started my, as you can tell from my accent, and because you know me already, I'm from Argentina. I'm not Australian. So I started my career journey back in Argentina. I studied human resources in university. And while I was studying in Buenos Aires HR, I got my first internship in human resources in Lenovo, Argentina. Funnily enough, that was my first HR full experience as an intern while I was studying in university. I had this internship as in recruitment in HR. Then I passed through different roles, including benefits and compensations, HR analytics, HR business partner. I had a very good experience in Argentina. But then for personal reasons, I decided to move countries. I decided to come to Australia with two friends, initially just for 1 year with a work and holiday visa. We loved it. We came here to Australia, loved the experience in Sydney. We met very good people. We actually found very good job opportunities. And this is where I found my first job in Australia as HR operations with MasterCard. Very, very happy and great company. Then due to visa conditions, I had to get another job with Maersk Line in the shipping industry containers, which was also great for me. And while I was working for this other company, they called me back from MasterCard and they offered me to rejoin them, and I accepted that offer. So I went back to MasterCard and I worked there again for three or 4 years. Very, very happy with the company. And after that, again, supporting different business units in MasterCard or across Asia Pacific. That's where I got a message on LinkedIn, a private message from a recruiter from Lenovo, based in Asia Pacific. And this person asked me if I was interested in joining Lenovo as the head of HR for Australia and New Zealand, to be based in Sydney. And I said, definitely yes. Why not? I used to work for Lenovo Argentina and I had an amazing experience back then. So why not joining again the company? And that's how I started the journey and the interview process. And then I got confirmed. And it's been already 3.5 years in this role, in this position, senior leadership. So very, very happy to be here now.
Well, that is a very great journey, and how great that you've been rehired twice from big companies that you work in the past.
I know, and actually, it's funny that you're mentioning this because my manager, he always calls me like I'm a boomerang employee, boomerang that goes and comes back, because it happened twice for me. MasterCard twice, Lenovo twice. If you see my CV, it's like MasterCard, Lenovo.
Comes back, yes.
Yeah.
She's a good alumni. Pia is a good alumni, of course.
100%.
Well, that's fantastic. That is a great story. And obviously you carry with you a lot of international experience and probably seeing big companies at different stages of their cycle as well. And in different countries, which is quite a great experience for an HR leader.
Yeah, to be honest, that's something that I really like about my current job also. Yes, I am responsible for Australia and New Zealand, and being Argentina for me is like having these multicultural, let's say, relationships. But I do actually, now my role is bigger than ANZ. I'm not sure if I shared with you earlier that since January this year, I took additional responsibilities, and now I'm supporting Asia Pacific for one of our biggest business units, that is our e-commerce BU, and that's across AP. So now I get to manage like even more with all the countries in AP, in Asia Pacific. Sorry, if I say AP a lot in this podcast, I'm referring to Asia Pacific. That's a lot.
Well, congratulations, Pia,
With
taking
AP.
on more
Yeah, thank you.
responsibilities and
Yeah.
keeping growing. So
Yeah.
obviously, Lenovo is a big multinational tech company. So what
Yeah.
are the latest Lenovo offerings now that you are talking that you've got new challenges in a new role, looking different aspects of the business in increasing these responsibilities? So can you tell us what are the latest Lenovo offerings? What do you guys do at the moment? And who do you help?
Yeah, sure. So as you rightly mentioned, we are a multinational company. We in terms of revenue, we are a 71 billion business company, USD. Size of the company in terms of headcount, we are 75,000 employees at a worldwide level.
That is big.
And yeah, huge. In Australia and New Zealand, we're around 400 employees. And then well, in terms of the business, yes, you rightly mentioned we are a technology company. Most of the people know Lenovo because of our hardware, being laptops, PCs, hardware, well, desktop and workstations. But we also started our service. We are now in this big focus on services, so service-led transformation. Started this journey 3 or 4 years ago. So we are now very big in services, smart offices, smart collaboration, devices as a service. So we have a big services offering now. And how do we help? That was the second part of your question. We help small and medium businesses. We also help very large enterprise, government, education sector, universities, and we also sell to end users. So all retailers, JB Hi-Fi, Harvey Norman, and other companies.
And this is in the APAC region, and it's being looked after by all the staff located in this region, right? Or you have any cross sharing with other countries?
Yeah, no, this is definitely across Asia, but like at a worldwide level.
Fantastic. And with these offerings, how do you ensure your leaders are managing their team successfully?
That's a good question, like to manage a team successfully, and everything depends on the size, but probably at a broader level. I always like to refer to a learning that I have from my manager, that he always brings this, I would say it's a framework, and it's called the 4 Cs. And the 4 Cs stands by capability, capacity, culture, and compensation. That for me, like, is a really good way of on how to manage a team successfully. So capability refers to, let's say, from a learning and development perspective, how your people are capable to do their job. From a training perspective, skills on how to upskill your talent, your people to do their jobs. That's capability number one. Capacity, that would be the second C. Capacity in terms of the organizational design, the org structure that you have, the roles, its responsibilities, if they are aligned to support the business strategy and the go-to-market. So that comes all under capability. The third C around culture. This is all around the values of the company, the mission, the code of conduct, engagement, different activities. So really the culture that you want to have in the company, and making sure that people are aligned to this, especially the leadership team. And the fourth, but not least, last but not least, is around compensation. So just making sure that you're paying accordingly to the market, that you're offering on not only base salary, but benefits, bonus, and other rewards and recognition, that you're competitive in the market to attract the best talent. So this is what I always like to bring. And again, just an anecdote. I remember a few months ago that I was in a business trip in India, and we were having an all hands update with all our India employees in one of our factories. And the HR director, again, she received a question from the audience, very similar question in terms of how do you manage the team successfully, something similar. And she responded with the same framework, because I guess it's the learning that we always have from our manager. And actually, even earlier today, we were in another meeting with some managers on new trainings that we're bringing. And again, my manager was referring to this framework of the 4 Cs. Really, for me as an HR professional, it helps me a lot when I have to guide some managers and leaders. And referring to these 4 Cs, like for me, it touches everything from an employee life cycle. You're touching on all the different angles. And it's very easy to remember because it's the 4 Cs. You
Yes,
cannot forget about the 4 Cs.
Yes, absolutely. And it looks like the rest of the team is also remembering, especially the
Yeah.
leaders at Lenovo. I think it is fantastic to have a guiding principle, and in this case is the 4 Cs framework, to ensure that you make sounding decisions based on this framework, and not, it's not all over the shop. Sometimes it's really hard to know how to tackle certain challenges or how to manage people for growth. And many people may think that it could be just the compensation, but I think it's important to have an holistic view, and also as a leader to be able to work with a framework, work with a system that that is going to work and be successful.
Yeah. Also, if I can add on that response, I would also say that like the one size doesn't fit all, and I think we need to recognize the different industries or sizes of the different companies, and some companies may have a different definition of what we call, I don't know, let's say capability. Like some companies would have some priorities that would be very different to others. So it's also a good exercise for companies. And now, yes, I'm referring to the audience of this podcast, for them to really think about what does it mean for them, the capability, capacity, culture, and compensation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a great advice. And this takes me to think as well. Can you tell us, how do you motivate and engage employees at Lenovo?
Yes, I love this question because I love engagement. Really, I think that's one of the things that I enjoy the most in my job in HR. Motivation and engagement, like really, I'm a big fan. So let me start saying that in Lenovo, we are focused on growing and developing an inclusive and connected culture. And this touches like on many different items, but a big one that we have, let's say from a diversity and inclusion perspective, that is connected to engagement 100%, is a big program that we call WHEEL. And WHEEL stands by Women in Lenovo Leadership, or Leadership in Lenovo. In this WHEEL program, that is a worldwide program, and it has many years. It actually exists since I was in Lenovo Argentina, so probably has more than 10 years. So WHEEL in ANZ, in Australia and New Zealand, we have a big committee that I am the leader with our marketing director, also that she's a female.
Yeah.
And we have 4 pillars where we focus on this WHEEL program. The 4 pillars are retention and attraction, leadership, career, and culture. And again, this is from a diversity and inclusion perspective to make sure that we attract, that we retain, that we develop females. In the industry, like we recognize that technology is an industry where that doesn't really attract lots of females. So we need recognizing that is, okay, what are we doing? What's our action plan to help improve this ratio, let's say, or the percentage of female representation that we have? And we have seen amazing results from an engagement perspective and retention and really participation from our females. We are very active. So that's definitely one that I would recommend people to have. Actually, for those also who is not a strength on their industries from a diversity and inclusion perspective, female. Number 2, I would say well-being is another key, a very important way to engage and motivate your people. In Lenovo, over the last 2 years with the pandemic, we brought a lot of different initiatives and programs. We were having workout sessions every week. We were having meditation sessions, yoga, cooking classes. It was a great way to connect with people, at least virtually, and to engage. Some sessions we were even opening to families, so some of the parents could bring their children to the camera and join the sessions. That was a really good way to have fun all together. And also we do participate as a company. Let's say last month in City to Surf, we do it every year, City to Surf, or some other cycling competitions with Lenovo. It was so cool, like to be all together. So yeah, well-being definitely is another way to engage, and every time you have the opportunity to come to these kind of sports events is really cool. So from a branding perspective,
absolutely.
Then third, I would say rewards and recognition. We have a very robust like platform and programs to recognize and reward our people, from a monthly all hands update, like a thank you award or similar things. But also we have annual programs. The biggest one that we have is called Lenovo President's Club. So this is where we recognize our top performers, top sellers. That can be people from sales functions, but also from non-sales functions. And every year we have this like amazing trip where people get to go together, all the top performers from all the different countries. And actually this year, uh, the trip was to Vietnam, and the trip was
Fun.
actually, yeah, it was last week. All the top people were in Vietnam last week, like having fun, sharing a week together with the top senior leadership team. And it's a great way to, again, recognize the people, making them feel very, very special, recognized and valued by the leadership team. They also get to bring a plus one. That can be your spouse, partner,
Oh,
or
this is
friend.
fantastic. I never
Yeah,
thought
no,
I
no,
was
no.
going
Like
to say
it's
that, but I would love to be a president
a president club. I know
at
it's
Lenovo.
really, really amazing.
Yes.
And they all came back on Sunday or Monday this week, and they were all sharing the photos this week, and very, very cool. And that actually raises the bar also for performance, because now all of them want to be top performers again to go to next year
That
Lenovo
is so
Presidents Club.
good. Yes.
So really, really cool. And again, this is probably the biggest one that we have. But on top of that, we have these quarterly awards, annual awards, kickoff, award ceremony.
Ensure there is
We are
enough
very strong. Yeah,
recognition, frequent recognition.
100%.
So I
Yeah,
assume that obviously for all our listeners, it's beyond the budget that you have, right? Maybe you don't need to take all the best
yeah,
performers
to
on a
Vietnam.
trip, but it's just different ideas, obviously adjusted to what you can do. It's just the main point here is that there are a different set of initiatives that can be implemented that really have an impact regardless of the budget, right? I think you
Yeah,
touch
yeah,
base difference, like maybe the trip is, may require a big budget, but then the frequent recognition or a company-wide meeting every quarter to recognize top performers or people's anniversary or discuss about current projects and initiatives, and that requires no dollar.
yeah, 100%. And I think what you were sharing this just now, I think there are two things that are important. One is definitely the budget. You need to be mindful about the budget and how much money you really have to spend on these initiatives. But there are lots of options that you can really manage and recognize and reward your people with probably zero or very small budget. But then another thing to consider is to be very clear on, let's say, on the process or the criteria for the award, so people don't feel that there are some certain, let's say, preferences or just because they're friends and this
Favoritism.
leader is yeah. So you really need to be very clear on the criteria. If it's based on number data, okay, to publish the data, to publish on a monthly or quarterly basis, the leaderboard, and that's how we do it, like a leaderboard. So again, this, to avoid confusion and disappointment from people, you need to be very transparent.
Absolutely. And that's probably where the HR team can help make the process fair and setting the rules that are going to have an impact and work in the sense that it won't have people feeling excluded, or that is going to be an unfair or really send the wrong message when the idea is all the opposite.
Yeah,
And
100%.
yes, Pia, and what are the most pressing HR challenges right now at Lenovo?
I guess you probably know that HR is a very, very dynamic function. You also have like 15 years of experience in the HR field, and every day we have different challenges. That's what makes our function so interesting, and I really, really like it. But probably most or some of them are confidential, that we cannot really share. But the ones that we can share, I would say, number one would be retention. Number two, I would say workforce planning. And let me elaborate a little bit on both. So retention as HR, and I guess like most of the audience, the listeners will be from the HR industry or business owners. We all heard about the Great Resignation from the pandemic. A lot of companies, regardless of the industry or size of the business, the Great Resignation is something that really affected all of the companies, where people really are shifting their careers, thinking really what they wanted to do. People, well, a lot of burnout. This is something that then, as HR professionals and companies, we really needed to think about our employee value proposition, about well-being, about engagement, making sure that we are attracting and retaining the right people, the key people. And the response is not always on compensation. And this is something that I always try to make it very clear with the people that I talk to. Usually they just say, oh no, because this person is leaving because of salary. No. The salary is probably at second, or it is a component, but it's more about the motivation of the person. Is the person happy with what are they happy with what are they doing? Are they happy clarity on the roles and responsibilities? Are they getting enough support from the managers? So there is really about, I guess exit interviews also help a lot to understand the real reasons. That is not only about compensation, but other reasons of them leaving, and then it's tackling and improving in the areas that can be.
Yes, absolutely. And this opinion, I guess, is based in psychology and in human behavior, right? So there are big studies that demonstrate that obviously compensation is a big component. However, there has to be a holistic view in terms of what's keeping people engaged and wanting to keep working for your business.
Yeah, and it also connects with the purpose and recognizing the strengths and weaknesses for the team, working all together, and what makes them also, like, we're all human beings at the end of the day. So it's recognizing all of that. And the second that I was referring to is on workforce planning. And when I say workforce planning, this refers to organizational design. And as HR, we play a key role on helping the managers and the leaders to make sure they have the right structure, the right, let's say, to be a very efficient team in terms of reporting lines, span of control, clear roles and responsibilities, be clear in expectations, and having the right productivity when you measure, let's say, the expense that you're having in the team and then the revenue that you're generating. So all those different ways of measuring success or measuring productivity is key from an org design perspective. So yeah, those I would say are the two really challenges or things that are keeping us very busy in terms of retention, from the Great Resignation and the workforce planning.
Yes, very interesting. And I guess that for many of our listeners today, they would agree with you, Pia, and working with several clients in different industries, I can see that those could be one of the top challenges. I think talent attraction in how competitive the market is right now is like the top one, if not. And you mentioned something about the Great Resignation and how the pandemic has shifted, priorities and what's going on with the market.
Yeah, and now if I can share you more then about, you mentioned attracting talent and the Great Resignation. Something related to great is that this year we are going to participate for the first time on the Great Place to Work survey. Very, very famous, very, very popular. When I was in MasterCard, we did participate in the Great Place to Work. But this time for us, like Lenovo in other countries across Asia Pacific and at a worldwide level, actually started to participate to get this certification. And with my team, we met with them because the Great Place to Work is a company that you just go through the process to get that certified, to get you certified and to get the certification. So we met with them a few weeks ago, and this is something that yes, small or big companies can
participate through. Yes, absolutely.
I think participate is a survey for all employees, and depending on the responses, on engagement on different levels, you get the certification. So again, from an HR perspective, external branding to attract and retain the right talent for your organization is super cool to have this Great Place to Work certificate. Absolutely. You can also use it then as a logo on your signature on when you advertise new vacancies.
Yes, I think it is a very smart strategy. I was working as an HR leader as well when I was part of the corporate, and having gone through the process myself, and applying for a Great Place to Work and winning was a big success. And in the end, they tripled in size in less than 2 years and expanded to other regions, helped us to become a more well-known brand, which is fantastic when we're talking about talent attraction and retention. So it's something that I do recommend to many startups and small business, to don't be afraid of the business size, or not participating. Actually, there are different different categories. So probably
Yeah.
Lenovo goes in the category for 400 to 500 employees, or if you're a startup. So yes, it's a very good strategy.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I think it's really highly recommended for all companies, regardless of the size.
And Pia, one of my last questions for today is, being that you work for a multinational, massive tech company, what do you think the future holds for tech, and what should listeners do about it?
I would probably link this one related to HR, related to hiring, and how hiring is really, really changing these days. And I think, again, connected to all the conversation that we're having right now in terms of different priorities, people changing their interests, careers, etc., and how hiring is really changing. Like traditionally, like us employers would hold the power and influence. Like we would be the ones, of course, making interviews, selecting different candidates. But now candidates are really the ones that are really making this key decision and really analyzing the company that they're going to join. So my advice to listeners would be really to work on your external branding, on the message that you want to give to people outside, on this, how aligned you are with the, let's say, from a CSR perspective, that's a corporate social responsibility or environment, or giving back to the community, volunteering. These are things that really resonate with people. What are your values, your mission, priorities for the company? So these are things that are definitely changing in this future of work, or from an HR perspective, the hiring. And then definitely the topic that we are all discussing in HR across all the industries is the new ways of working, the hybrid working style, the working from home, the going back to the office. What is the best approach, and the policy that you're going to launch, like defining what's the culture you want to, like who do you want to be, like how would you want to be recognized. Some companies mandating people to go back to the office, some other companies saying, okay, we don't have offices anymore, so you can continue working from home forever. Some others adapting the hybrid working style with flexibility. So yeah, really like considering and having this aligned to the company strategy, values, and but always listening to your people, listening their needs, and trying to adapt this to the strategy overall from an HR perspective.
Brilliant, Pia. Thank you so much for sharing your insights and advice today with us, and really appreciate it. Thanks for your time, and all the best in Lenovo and your new responsibilities as well.
Thank you, Pam. Thank you very much. I also really enjoyed the conversation. Again, like both of us, we got to know each other because we are in the same profession and living here in Australia. So always having conversations that inspire us and other people is always great. So thank you for the opportunity, for inviting me to your podcast. It was a pleasure for me. And thank you, and all the best. The human resource.
Thank you, Pia. We have a lot in common, and it's actually truly inspiring to have a friend and an HR leader at Lenovo that has implemented amazing initiatives, and all the best for your future. Thank you for tuning in to the People Relations Podcast. We hope that today's discussion helps you find new ways to make better people decisions within your business. For additional insights and resources, remember to visit our website at peoplerelations.com.au. If you found value in this episode, please like and share the show with your friends who are dedicated to running and growing their businesses. We can't wait to have you back next time for more great conversations. Until then, take care and see you soon.